here to talk about, firstly I have to show you my jazz slide. Transforming the customer from content to sales. Contiki produces an unprecedented amount of content. We actually strategically like to position ourselves as our own production and content curator in kind of youth lifestyle pillars. We have a blog. We have even other youth publications reposting our blog articles, which we think is a big win. We have a massive social following, massive YouTube channel. We partner with influencers. We partner with influencers for them to create content on our behalf, and we also use influencers to get reach and credibility out of the content that we create. So one would think that we consider content to be king, but I hate this saying. I don't know, hands up if you hate this saying, content is king. Like honestly, how relevant is it in 2015? It's almost as relevant as the monarchy being the head of state of Australia. And let's just go straight into politics. But I live with my flatmate's a federal police officer, and after a few wines, I know a little too much about our national security, including where Charles and Camilla were staying, and also when we had to shut the bridge down because they can't be on the road with anyone else when they're travelling. Like seriously, not even the RTA asked, could we have one lane? They're like, no, can't. It's like the whole bridge had to be theirs. Anyway, so content is king is not it just seems quite outdated. So what I'm going to show you is not anything revolutionary. It doesn't talk about technology, but Ahmed talked about people. Like I have a team of marketers who are trying to keep up to date with the latest technology, with the latest trends, working with agencies. We buy a lot of our media directly. We do some work with Benchmarketing, but other than that, most of our media is bought directly out of one digital marketer in my team. So kind of what I'm about to show you now is just a little bit of a methodology or an approach that I get our team to kind of bring to the table when they are thinking about how content will work in a campaign or within the broader context of the sales targets we're trying to achieve. So, from content to sales, 3 kind of sayings I've just pulled together. Clarity and its purpose. So often brands will go, oh, let's just create this video and then we'll stick a call to action at the end and everyone's going to open a super fund. I used to work for BT and at St. George in Westpac, and I used to sell superannuation, and believe me, even I got to star in a video which at the end they thought everyone was going to open a super fund and they didn't. So it's like, what do we want the piece of content to do? Do we want it to give us brand reach, shift perceptions, or play in the consideration set? The next thing is understanding where it will be consumed. Sometimes, when we've done this in the past, we get an influencer or a celebrity and we say, hey, come over here, let's make this video, let's write this article about you, and then we push it live on our channels and go, fingers crossed, they're going to watch it. And nobody watches it, no one cares. And in a better, so it was kind of like, well, why do we even use that influencer? Or why do you even get them involved? Like, or what was the whole point of that? As opposed to a recent example where we partnered with an amazing YouTuber, Devon Supertramp, and we thought, well, what do we want to achieve? Like, what do we want to do with this piece of content? Where's it going to be consumed? So he's an amazing YouTuber that does stunts. So we actually leveraged him and the way he creates his content. We said, it's about brand reach and consideration and preference. You create the content for us, let's co-create together, but let it live in your environment and let us reach your audience, because they wouldn't necessarily have come to our environment to learn about Contiki, and that's the way we got reach and achieved the objectives we needed to. And the last one is construct the user journey. I worked in the bank where we sat and did that briefing process that would take 6 weeks sometimes, and then we produced this amazing shiny things, and every marketer forgot to actually press next or submit or click or just see where's this content go, what's the next step for the consumer, and how does it kind of integrate into the sales funnel if there is one. And it's such a simple thing, but I worked on the digital marketing side where we were like the reverse of the marketers who would just create the shiny thing first, where I was like, who cares, let's just worry about the user journey. We can slap any creative at the beginning and just test and learn and go from there. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit I've lost some content. Oh, doesn't matter. Okay, that's all right. So I'll talk about a specific example. The objective, this is a campaign that we recently did, and the objective was to grow Europe winter sales, which seems easy enough, but we had a problem. Europe summer is synonymous with Australians travelling. They love to go to Europe in the summer. It's great. Croatia sailing, Greek sailing. We do not have a problem. Sales are up year on year. Winter, we had a problem. And it wasn't just for our brand set, it was a category set. Winter sales were declining 2 years in a row and at a steady rate. What was our comms challenge? How do you get an Aussie to leave Australia when it comes to life at the best time of the year, when our beaches come to life? Like, why would you go to Europe in winter? Like, you just wouldn't do it. And it's not that much cheaper anymore. Like, it isn't significantly cheaper, and you basically have to say goodbye to Australia Day and Bondi Beach, and it was like, what are we going to do? How is this going to happen? So we collaborated with our agency, the Conscious Organisation, and they have a very agile approach to the way they do things. Briefing is in an email. I write the email. It consists of about 5 bullet points, and then we get into their offices. They have some ideas on a big, massive wall, and we sit with markers and post-it notes and give feedback and co-create together. And through that process, we came up with this idea where we needed to create this tongue-in-cheek campaign where we had to shift perceptions and show people how cool, educate Australians how cool winter in Europe really was. So it was called #WinterSchool. And the output of that, we decided, was going to be a series of animated GIFs that kind of looped. So they were kind of like mini videos, but animated GIFs. And they looped long enough so you could get the joke. Humour was key. In social, it needs to kind of have a little bit of a hook to be engaging. All right, so we knew that this content needed to not only shift plain consideration for Contiki, like consider Contiki when you want to go to Europe in winter, but on a category level, we kind of had to shift perceptions as well. And that underpinning that was this idea of like social norming, like it's kind of okay to go to Europe in winter. We had to socially norm the youth to consider Europe in winter, but timing was key as well. So we knew that for the content to have the most impact, best to go live while Australia was cold, June, July, and we kind of do winter pretty crap. So compared to Europe, our winter's pretty crap. So kind of there was like this whole kind of 3-point approach in understanding the purpose of the content we're about to create. Understanding where it would be consumed. All right, so we knew this was something that needs to be socially led. If it's socially led, it needs to be brief, funny, engaging. That was all good. But then we thought, this can't have sound. Like a lot of, I've seen, we've done this as well, where we're so reliant on sound, and like people just don't switch it on anymore. Even the Instagram videos, you don't switch it on, you just watch it loop. Facebook, you never switch it on. So I was like, okay, cannot rely on sound. Yeah, and it had to be short and sweet. All right, so I do this for Gil once when we went to Bench and said we need your help with our recent Europe summer launch campaign, and it's kind of the basis of that. I get the team to all together. So I have a digital marketer, I have a writer, I have a campaign manager and a generalist, and I have kind of like an events person. And when that's so many different disciplines, but whenever we start a campaign, we all come into the room together and make sure we're all on the same page in terms of what we want every element to deliver in the broader activity. The first thing I do with the content is I never make it talk about the tactical offer. That is what retargeting is for. So we keep the content separate in the sense that we understand its purpose, we understand where it's going to be consumed, and we let it do its job. Off that, we always overlay it with a retail message. And travel has a long lead time. Like this content that we create, we make sure it doesn't have an expiry. The content can be consumed at any point. Whenever the user wants to come to your site, whenever you choose to push it out again, the content we created could live. It's just talking about winter in Europe and Contiki. It doesn't matter. It's not time bound. The tactical off is time bound, but those pixels that we have to retarget to are still working now. This went live in June, July. We're still seeing the benefits of that activity. Also, you know, we know how to fold in other supporting articles. So 6.2 is our blog. We had other articles that we wrote. We also co-create articles with other publications like Pedestrian TV, Junkie Media. We have relationships with them. So just looking at the campaign holistically, we understood the role that the content was going to play from a consideration and perception place, and then our tactical by how that was going to play. This then is really easy for me to say, go to Benchmarketing and say, hey guys, I need a media plan off that complements the strategy that our team has put together. Okay, so I'm going to show you some. The first one I'm going to show you is the art of fireplace rotation. So educating people how to rotate themselves around a fire to ensure they're equally warm on all parts of their bodies, and the consequences of that not necessarily being done properly. And it'll play a couple of times. So we had a competition in the office. We produced 12 animated GIFs, and we had a competition which was going to be the highest in performing engaged. I think this one got about 1,000 likes. So it was the winning one. Only one of the guys in the whole office guessed that this would win. So I'll play you the next one. So has anyone been to Oktoberfest? Yeah? Okay, so there's a Drindle code. So you know if a woman is available or not based on something that she wears. So I'll play the next one for you. So we sourced an artist in the UK, actually, Stephen Ong, and he's a famous artist that specialises in animated GIFs. So there was a story in that as well out of the campaign. Okay, so the results. So the content, 1.6 million views, which is pretty amazing actually, just for a series of animated GIFs. The YouTube video that I was talking about before with Devon Supertramp, he has such an amazing engaged audience. Usually his videos get like 20 million views. So off the video he did for us, we got 1 million views in like a month. But to have 1.6 million out of just a 10-second animated GIF, we were extremely pleased with. The tactical offer, again, great reach out of that, 6 million impressions. But overall, our sales are up year on year 12%, which is just phenomenal. The year before we were down 11, the year before that we were down 13%, and it was dropping like a percent every couple of weeks, so we were kind of panicked about that. Yeah, so overall, we were quite pleased with the results. I'll just stop there. Does anyone have any questions? No? Have a little think. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. I just hope I don't offend anyone at this point. It didn't make this is animated GIF number 13. It didn't make the cutting floor. It got dropped because it's probably didn't align with the purpose of the campaign, but we loved it because we thought it was hilarious. But okay, we'll just okay. That's just again. Okay, so this is yeah. So that's to show you the consequences of not being able to create your snowman correctly. That's it. Thank you, guys.